Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Championship Fitness. I am Dr. Donald Ozello of Championship Chiropractic in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am here with my good friend, Michael Palmieri. He is the Director of Research and Performance at Dominate Your Game, which is a great gym here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are going to be doing strength training and specifically the hamstrings and the gluteal muscles. Hamstring training is extremely important in performance and in injury prevention. We want to make sure that your hamstrings are as strong as possible. Hamstring training will help you in every sport and will help you to prevent injuries. It will help you prevent hamstring injuries, quadricep injuries, and also non-contact knee injuries. So we want to make sure that our hamstrings are as strong and as healthy as possible. And here obviously is the disclaimer that I give on every video. Please, if you are not exercising, see a medical professional to get an evaluation to make sure that you are healthy enough to exercise. Also, begin any new exercise program at your current fitness level. Not what you were at in the past, not what your friends are at, but at your current fitness level. And increase your intensity in gradual increments. Doing too much too soon is a precursor for injury. So you want to make sure that you start at your current fitness level and you increase in gradual increments. Again, we're going to be doing some hamstring training today. I'm going to let my friend Michael talk for a few minutes, obviously because I've been talking for too long, and he's going to tell you the importance of hamstring training. All right, Michael.
All right, well, Dr. O, hamstrings are really, really important, keeping them healthy and keeping them strong. They're one of the most neglected muscles in the body, and they deal with everything that we do, from standing up to sitting down to walking to running, everything. And people end up not focusing or working with them at all, and they end up developing injuries, like you were saying, with the knees and the hips, and even lower back and other issues that we see because the hamstrings are weak. And when I talk about hamstrings, I also include in there, you mentioned before, I do include the glutes.
Excellent.
Because I call them hip extensors, that entire group. And what it is it basically is that,
right here.
Absolutely, and it's meant to basically extend the hips. That's the primary function of that group, is for you to be able to do this, or when you're running, to do this, to bring that leg back. What you're going to see today, you're not going to see really any movements that are going to work with developing the hamstrings to do this. That's a secondary motion of the hamstring. And as I work with professional athletes, and there's no sport in the world that can do this. Okay, so we're going to work on that. Now, I have to say though, because of how the hamstrings are situated, before you do anything like this, make sure you are really, really warmed up. Not necessarily stretching, dynamic warm up. Get that blood pumping, get a little bit of a sweat going, get your heartbeat going, and make sure that you are relaxed and moving, because otherwise it's a great way to injure yourself.
Excellent. Yeah, you always want to make sure you're warmed up no matter what type of exercise that you're doing, but we always want to make sure that the hamstrings are prepared for the exercise that we're going to be doing. All right, now it's warm-up time. Michael's going to get me warmed up for my hamstring strengthening routine.
All right, so the first thing I want you to do is real simple. Basically the distance of the turf. I just want you to do a light jog up and back a couple of times.
Okay.
And this is just basically to get your heart going, get the blood moving, get a little bit of a sweat going. And we think about with even the training that we're doing, even though it's mostly hamstrings, your whole body is going to be involved at one point, so we might as well get everything warmed up.
Anytime we do an exercise, when I get warmed up, we want to make sure the heart and the lungs and the entire musculoskeletal system is prepared.
Okay, the next thing we're going to have you do is basically what's called an open gait. So gait is in G-A-I-T, right? Your gait walking.
Okay.
So basically what I want you to do, closed gait, is you're going to take a step and bring your hips in. Just like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Take a step.
Yep, and open gait. No, open gait. Close it. Sorry, my bad. Close gait.
Okay.
I'm saying open and I'm showing close.
We're coming outside of you. Okay. Warming up the entire hip joint, warming up the spine.
Okay, now go walking backwards, open your leg up and come back and take a step back. There you go. Get start here, open wide up. There you And this is basically general warm-up that I would put most of my athletes through when we're doing some sort of leg training. It's good for whether you're doing quad dominant, hamstring dominant, or just overall like saying squats.
Excellent.
So the next thing we're going to have you do is what's called a side shuffle. So you're going to stand in what's called a sports ready position, and all you're going to do is just go sideways. Get down the gate, come back. Okay?
Great way to warm up the medial thighs.
Yep. And of course, this is something that normally this whole routine that we do for warm-up usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes of its own.
Yes.
And that's how important the warming up is. Okay, next thing we're going to do is basically called an over-under. Pretend that you have like a hurdle.
Okay.
I want you to go over the hurdle, under the hurdle, and over the hurdle.
Nice. All right.
Okay? So over, under, and then over. Oops, I bring the other leg over.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, now.
Over?
Yep. Under, over.
Over.
All right, now come back the other direction.
I like this one.
Good. All right. Next thing we're going to do, this is going to be a little bit of a coordination thing. Okay. Well, all of our athletes do it, so I know you can.
All right.
It's called a karaoke. All right. So you bring your this way, forward, step, back, just like that.
Yeah, doing this. This is old football warm up.
There it is. Exactly right. And then come back, facing the same direction. Good. Next thing I'm going to have you do is a back pedal. This is really important for your hamstrings. Okay, again, sports ready position. Come back. All right, and turn around and do it again. Good. This is a good one. It's pretty intense, but it really gets things warmed up. It's called a high knee skip.
All right.
So most times you'll see when they're working on hamstring, you see them do high knee marches, like that. What we're going to do is add a little bit of a difficulty into it. We're going to do a high knee skip. Just like that. Up. Yep, there you go.
You got it right?
Yep. And come back. Get a little bit higher up. There you go. Good. And then the last thing we're going to have you do is basically called leg swings.
Okay.
We'll have you hold on to something, but the idea is basically do your leg swings this way,
All right.
and then this way. Okay? So you hold on to something this way, that way. Okay?
So we're going through all the ranges.
Absolutely.
And then all the planes too. So we're turning.
Try to keep your foot straight and try not to bend your knees. Basically keep a straight leg.
So most of the motion is in the hips.
Absolutely. And that just gets that whole area warmed up.
And I'd also like to say too, for anybody, if you have a trouble area, even if it's not the area that you're working, go ahead and spend an extra minute or two warming that up. Make sure that it's prepared for what we're going to be doing. Now that we've finished the warm up and our body is prepared, our hamstrings are definitely prepared, we're going to go ahead and get into the strength training. First exercise we're going to be doing, Michael's going to be explaining it to you, and he's going to be explaining it as I am doing the exercise.
All right, so this exercise is called an RDL, Romanian deadlift. This is probably, I'm going to say it this way, this is the most important hamstring exercise you can do, because it is the most natural thing to do for your hips. Basically, some people call it a stiff-legged deadlift. I don't like saying that because I don't want you to keep your legs stiff. So we're going to go through it step by step. I'm going to explain how every part of it moves. Okay, first thing you want to do, you want to keep your chest high. This should always stay up. And this is really important because we want to make sure we keep your lower back safe, right?
Yes.
Pinch your shoulder blades. Squeeze them tight. So now it looks kind of awkward, but if you realize if you're staying in this position, there's no way that you're gonna curl your back. No way. Keep your shoulder blades tight, chest high. Unlock your knees, but you keep them at a slight bend. Don't move them. Once you find them in that position, you don't want to come up and down. They should stay in that motion. Keep the bar against your leg. The idea with this is that we want to lower the bar by sticking your butt out. Okay? So don't lower your shoulders, don't lower your hips or anything like that. Lower just by sticking your butt out. So make sure basically this is a hinge. Okay? As you go down, you want to go down as far as you can until you feel a pull behind your knee. Once you feel that slight pull, you stand back up and you squeeze your butt at the top. However, when you come up to the top, do not do an over-emphasize the area. No, do not do that. That's not going to do anything. So what does this do? It basically strengthens the entire hamstring from above the hip to below the knee. Because that, keep your back straight, chest high. Because that is basically what that whole muscle group was meant to do, is to do this. Is to bring that leg out and back, or to help you stand upright. This will also help prevent lower back injuries, because by strengthening this part up here with your hamstrings and your glutes right here, yes, that'll keep your back from wanting to do this.
Excellent.
When you start having your lumbar injuries.
Yeah, this is a very functional exercise. This is an exercise, obviously it's targeting the hamstring and the glutes, but it works a wide number of exercises. Michael was explaining to me before we started the workout that you don't want to overload the bar because you may not feel it while you're doing it, but you're going to feel it in your hamstrings and your glutes the next morning.
Absolutely, and that's one problem, because when people start doing this exercise, they feel like, God, this seems so easy. It seems so, take your time, because you will feel it the next couple of days. You also should feel it, spin around a little bit. You should feel it right here a little bit. If you feel it here the next day, that means you're doing it right, because that means you're keeping this nice and tight. All right, and that means you're doing it right. Now, what you don't want to see, the bad way of doing it, is when you have the bar and to do this. Okay, that dropping the shoulders, rounding the back, that's putting nothing here, it's putting everything right back here. And then what we would see is the vertebrae shoot across the ribs. So we don't want that. So it's a very safe exercise when done correctly. A lot of people think it's bad for the lower back, something. If you ever feel it in your lower back, you're not doing it right. So this is called a hip thrust. And it looks a little funny at first, but it's extremely functional and it's very beneficial. What we want to do is basically take the bottom of your shoulder blades, the little point that you feel on the back of it, and anchor them on the bench. Then put your feet to where your shin bone is straight up and down to the ground. Keeping your feet flat, you do a rocking motion to where you come up, squeeze your butt at the top, and then swing down, come down. You want to get a full extension on the bottom so you get a full stretch, and then come back up. And this helps, again, everything from the back, from the hands to the glutes. Ultimately, later on, when you get better at it, you can put a weight across your hips. Sometimes put a bar or a dumbbell or a plate or even a med ball starting out, and you can keep it there and it'll add a little bit of resistance to it. But take your time, pause at the top, do a slow eccentric on the way down, get a full stretch, and then come back up. So this next exercise is called a kickback. It's another type of hip extension and works really well with bringing the glutes into the whole mess of it. What you want to do, you can use either a band or you can use a cable attachment. Actually, I'll even show you an alternative that we can use with using a dumbbell. We can do after this. That way we'll make it easier for whatever you have available. And then the idea is you want to keep the foot that's stationary, slightly bent knee, and straight. You can hold on to something, keep your balance, keep your body upright, and then basically what you want to do is you take this, bring it out slow on the way back. So you come up, pause at the top, and then come down. And you want to keep your foot straight. Don't let your foot swing out. We're not trying to work on anything on the outside of your leg.
We're not doing this. We don't have the hip externally rotated or internally rotated.
Straight shot. And as you get better at it, you'll be able to bring your leg farther back because the whole muscle structure will get stronger, and you'll also be a little bit more flexible with it too. Don't try to go higher than you can, because then what you will end up doing is externally rotating your foot. And that's not going to do any good. By getting that pause at the top and then slow on the way down, you're bringing everything in, pause and then slow on the way down. When you come back, you just basically bring your foot back as far as your other one. You don't have to bring it in front of it. That way you're not getting too much slack on the band. Glute-Ham raises. All right. Now, a lot of gyms have this device called GHR Glute-Ham raise, but not everybody has access to something like this. So what I'm going to do is show you something that can kind of take the place of it, but anybody can do at home. All right. So you're going to get on your knees, and we're going to focus again on your hamstrings. And what you're going to do is you're going to lower yourself using your glutes and hamstrings as slow as you can, and then when you can't do it anymore, you'll catch yourself with your arms. Now, on the way up, I want you to try to lift with your hams and glutes as much as you can and assist with your arms. Don't just push yourself away from the ground, okay? And again, try to keep your back straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down here and I'm going to hold your ankles so you don't pitch forward and make a somersault out of it.
All right.
All right. Come up. Good. Slow, 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 slow. Good. Up. Use your hams and glutes on the way up.
Okay.
Good. Slow, 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 slow. Good. Up. There it is. Good. You feel it back there?
Oh, this is good exercise.
If you don't have a partner, sometimes you can find a bench that has like these like lower, and you can put your ankles under them and it'll help keep your legs flat. But it is good to have somebody there. Plus, it's nice having somebody, a partner of any of this, to help keep an eye on your form, make sure you're doing proper technique. Because exercises on your hamstrings can get sloppy real quick. Because most people's hamstrings are really big.
I've seen some people use terrible form in the gym, so we want to stress that your technique is extremely important. Use proper technique. The amount of weight that you use is secondary to technique. You want to make sure that you use proper technique, you're going to get maximum benefit, and you're also going to lower the possibility of getting injured.
And you know what we say here, when we have our athletes come in, we always say, check your ego at the door.
Okay. I love it.
So,
I love it.
That's what's most important.
Thank you everyone for viewing today's episode of Championship Fitness. I just had a great hamstring workout with my friend Michael. Hamstrings are extremely important. I know I said this in the beginning of the video, but I want to stress it. Many times when we train, we neglect our hamstrings. Our hamstrings are weak. So we want to make sure that our hamstrings are strong and our hamstrings are healthy. It's going to improve our performance in all sports, and it's also going to lower the possibility of an injury in the lumbar spine, in the glutes, in the hamstrings themselves, in the hip flexors, the quads, and in the knees. Non-contact knee injuries are common with folks who have weak hamstrings. So you want to make sure that your hamstrings are extremely strong. Thank you for viewing today's episode. If you have questions for myself or for Michael, if you have feedback, suggestions, please leave them in the comments section. I will make sure that Michael gets his questions and feedback and suggestions. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, Dr. Donald A. Ozello, DC. Also, if you liked this video, please give us a like down below. I appreciate you viewing. Michael, thank you very much.
Anytime,
sir.
Dr. Zell. Anytime at all.
Thank you very much. Michael is great. He knows his stuff. Please contact him at Dominate Your Game. It's a fantastic gym here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thanks.
You're welcome.